Hi everyone, just wanted to record just a quick video because I know probably the question that a lot of you are asking is it a good time to buy now? And we're going to look at a number of the different factors, and I will just tell you why I think it's actually is a good time to buy now. So the first graph that we're going to look at is a graph of the average prices. So if we look at the graph, we can see that prices, of course, they've been going up since 2005. And we can see now that we've actually had an adjustment in the prices, which is what we're seeing in the marketplace right now. We're seeing single family detached houses down about 10%, townhouses down or about 20%. We're seeing townhouses down about 10%, and we're seeing condos down around 5%. So we can see from the average prices on the graph that definitely they are going down. But if we look at the fact, because I'm asked sometimes, well, what happens if we buy at the peak? Well, let's look at what happened in the past about buying at the peak. So if we look at the graph and we look at the period from 2011 to 2015, so we had a peak in 2011, and then by 2015, prices were back up to where they were. And now let's look at 2017 to 2020. We had a peak in 2017, prices went down, they came back up again in 2018. Then from 2018 to 2020, average prices went down, but they came back up again in 2020. So we can see if we look at any 3 to 5 year period since 2005, in the last 17 years, that it's taken 3 to 5 years for prices to come back up to where they were. So don't forget, you actually have to live somewhere, so you're going to need a house to live in. Now let's take a look now at what interest rates have been doing. So let's look at the next graph for interest rates. So we can see if we look at the graph for interest rates, and this is a historical 5-year average for interest rates, we can look from 2008 back to now 2022. And if we look at the graph, we can see that from 2012 to 2022, it's a fairly, if we take out the dips, it's a fairly straight line as to what mortgage rates are. So we can see that we had artificially low interest rates from 2018 to 2022. And we've seen this, if we look at the graph, rates are not going down. Those rates were artificially low, and there was a lot of different factors for that. So those rates are not going up again. So if we look at historical rates, we're about where we were on a historical average. So even if you were to get a new mortgage today, you were at the average interest rate over the last 15 years. We're at the average interest rate. And so don't think that you're going to wait for interest rates to come down before you buy again, because you know what? They're not going to come down again. Okay, so now let's look and see what would happen if you actually bought now and what your equity gain would be just by paying down your mortgage. And all of these figures that we're going to go over, and let's look at the chart now. All of these figures are just from paying down your mortgage. They're not considering any equity gain as far as prices going up. So let's look at the $400,000 mortgage, which is typically what you would have if you're going to buy a 2-bedroom condo. And you can see the mortgage payments are $22.45, and you can see at the end of 5 years, you've paid your mortgage down by $49,000. In 5 years, you're not going to save $49,000, and you're going to be paying rent anyways. So for something that's the same or a little bit more than rent, you're going to earn $49,000. So let's look at the $600,000 chart. At $600,000, your mortgage payment is $33.67, which is not a whole lot more than if you're renting a 3-bedroom townhouse, which is going to be around that $3,000 mark or up to $3,500. And you can see at the end of the 5 years, you've gained $72,000 in equity. And that's, as I say, without prices actually going up in the next 5 years. And if we looked at the chart, we're going to see that we saw that prices are going to go up in the next 5 years sometime. And now let's look at the final one, $800,000 mortgage. Your mortgage payments are $44.90, which again are not going to be a whole lot different than if you were renting a 3-bedroom house. And that's typically around that $1 million mark. That's what you're going to be paying for a house. And if you were to rent that, you're going to be paying that $4,000 to $4,500 mark. So as you can see, we've got prices that have come down. Single family homes are down about 20%, townhouses are down about 10%, and condos are down about 5%. And we have interest rates that are at a historical average. And we have the fact of your equity gain, even just without considering any appreciation in prices. So as you can see, I believe that it's a great time to buy right now if you're thinking about buying right now. So if you are, please get a hold of me. We'll go over all of the numbers, or if you have any questions, please let me know. And in the meantime, feel free to pass this on to anyone that would be interested in just finding out a little bit more and they're thinking about considering buying. Thanks, everyone.